Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Fayetteville. My name is Sarah Reynolds. I joined this church last year, and I am very happy to be newly involved in the Justice Team and the X to Z Youngish Adult Suppers. I'm glad to see you here. Unitarian Universalism is a religious tradition that values freedom in religious thought and journey. We uphold the unity of our inner connections to each other, to all of life, and to the precious physical and spiritual universe in which we are a part. We affirm the universality of love and hope as we journey together in community. We welcome you, whoever you are, at this moment and wherever you are in your spiritual journey. For those of you joining us online, welcome. If you are new, please check out our website, uufayetteville.org, for more information. For those of you here for the first time, you'll find a visitor information card in the seat back in front of you. We'd love for you to fill one out so that we can get to know you more and get you on our email list. It's usually just once a week, and it has information and resources related to church happenings. Later in the service, we will have a time where you are invited to come forward and drop a stone, symbolizing a joy or concern in that bowl of water right over there. If you have a joy, concern, or even a milestone that you'd like to share, we invite you to fill out one of these yellow cards that you'll find also in the pew rack in front of you. If you are online, please note that all of those comments will be made public. And if you need hearing assistance, Mr. David, right over there, our AV tech, will be happy to assist you with that. Children are always welcome in our service. There is a staffed nursery also available downstairs if preferred. We also have speakers out in the foyer as well. Thank you for remembering to silence your cell phones as we enter into our service. As somebody who attended the Interfaith Climate Retreat, I was deeply touched by the wisdom shared there about our physical and spiritual interconnections. Because of that, I was chosen to help pick a poem to focus us in this time. With that, inspired by one of the speakers and my own spiritual practice, our team chose a poem about inner being by Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Buddhist monk and peace advocate. He inspired the movement of engaged Buddhism here in the West. I present the poem, Interrelationship. You are me, and I am you. Isn't it obvious that we are? You cultivate the flower in yourself so that I will be beautiful. I transform the garbage in myself so that you no longer have to suffer. I am in this world to offer you peace. You are in this world to bring me joy. We thank you for mindfully being here with us today.
Our covenant is on the screen as well as in your order of service. Please join me as we light our chalice. Love is the spirit of this community, and service is its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and truth, and to help one another. Thus do we covenant together.
Good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. Climate change can bring up some big feelings for many of us. We may feel anxious, scared, confused, sad, angry, motivated, or purposeful. We may have grief about how our planet is changing. Many of us wrestle with feelings of helplessness, given the scale of this issue. Some of us in the U.S., more than anywhere else, are dismissive or in denial about our warming planet. But that is changing. Some of us feel hope. Whatever we feel is okay. Climate change and the subsequent justice issues are some of the most pressing moral and spiritual challenges of our time. And there is a lot of intersectionality with other issues and struggles that we care about. As Unitarian Universalists, our principles call us to recognize the interconnected web of existence, to seek justice and equity for all people, and to engage in a responsible search for truth and meaning. We know that climate change is not just a scientific or environmental issue. It is a moral crisis, and our UU values call us to meaningful action. Thank you.
Our opening hymn this morning is number 38 in your gray hymnal. I would encourage you to actually get your hymnal out. That's always a cool thing to do. I love our hymnal, but the words will also be on the screen. Please rise as you're willing and able and sing with us, Morning Has Broken.
Hello, everyone. Do I click through? Do I click through? You go ahead. All right, today we're going to read a book called To Change a Planet. Our planet, big, tough,
dependable. Our planet has spun through eons of time. Mere moments ago, we arrived. One person, small, quiet, insignificant. But when one person and one person and one person become many, they can change a planet. One molecule of carbon dioxide, small, quiet, insignificant. But when many cars, many factories, and many cities let loose millions and billions and trillions, they trap and stifle like a too warm blanket. One notch higher on the thermometer, small, quiet, insignificant. But one notch higher can change our seas, our seasons, life, us. One person seems small, quiet, and insignificant. But when one person and one person and the one person become many, they can change a planet. Our planet seems tough, but it is fragile. Our planet seems big, but it needs us. Our planet has spun through eons of time, but this moment is the one that matters most. For our planet, our only home.
Good morning, I'm Dinah. As a community of people that care about each other, we share our joys and concerns. We invite you to share your ups and downs as you desire. You can come to the front and drop a stone for any joy or concern, shared or confidential, expressed or held in your heart. And as you drop your stone, may you experience the spreading of love and support. If you filled out a card, you can bring it to me. I'll be right down here. And on the card, please indicate whether you want it expressed to the group or not. If you need to stay where you are in your seat, feel free to raise the card so someone can come get it. And we'll bring it up here for you. If you're attending virtually, you may write your joys and concerns in the comments at this time. Are there any? Okay, so let's do the dropping of the stones. morning. Thank you very much. We have dropped stones for joys and concerns not spoken, and for joys and concerns that we will experience in the coming week. Let's have a moment of silence, okay, as we hold all these joys and concerns in our hearts. Okay. Thank you. It's time now for our offering. And today, we are going to help out with our Share the Plate program, which we do once a month. We're going to help a program that's getting started in Fayetteville called Family Promise. And this is kind of started out of a lot of the need in our community for people, congregations or some kind of group to welcome people coming in who have no resources. This could be immigrants. It could just be people moving from another area who have a lot of needs at one time. The idea is that a church would either adopt a family or at least just help in the process of other churches adopting a family to provide as many needs, resources as we can. So in this case, we haven't adopted a family yet in our congregation, but you all heard Gladys Tiffany talk, I think, about Family Promise a couple of Sundays ago. And so what we're doing now is we're just going to share the money that we have in our pockets, or more, if you choose. And we're going to give this to Gladys at the Omni Center for Peace, Justice, and Ecology, and let them distribute it into the Family Promise program where it's needed. Okay, thank you.
Good morning again. I'm going to get right into it, okay? As you use, we affirm and we promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence, for justice, equity, and compassion in human relationships, and the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process. Each of these speaks directly to our responsibility to address climate change. Make no mistake, the climate crisis threatens us all, especially as we allow it to continue without adequate mitigation of greenhouse gases. However, it is not impacting us all equally at the same time. Currently, the most vulnerable among us are being impacted the greatest. That's what we mean by climate justice. As people of conscience, we must take action to promote justice and to protect our livable world. Many of us in this room already care about climate change because of our values, our love for our children and our grandchildren, or simply our love of the earth and all living things. We know that climate change is a life-altering force that is already reshaping the systems that we depend on. Systems of food, water, migration, biodiversity, as well as the frequency and the severity of disasters. And it's accelerating faster than originally thought. So we're going to get into a little bit of science. In the 1950s, a scientist named Charles David Keeling began measuring atmospheric carbon dioxide levels from an observatory in Hawaii. His data formed what is now called the Keeling curve, a steadily rising line that reflects how our atmosphere is changing. See, it starts over there at 1960, and this one goes all the way up to 2020. And you can see kind of like, where atmospheric carbon dioxide was, and we're going to talk a little bit about where it is now. The levels have been rising. Starting when David Keeling started, keeping this data at around 315 parts per million in 1958 to over 420 parts per million today. The last time that carbon dioxide was this high in our atmosphere, humans didn't exist. In fact, the last time atmospheric carbon dioxide levels exceeded 400 parts per million was roughly 3 million years ago, long before Homo sapiens evolved. Back then, sea levels were over 20 feet higher and global temperatures were 2 to 3 degrees Celsius warmer. Our modern civilization, with its cities, agriculture, and infrastructure, has only really existed in a pretty narrow, stable climate range. And we're leaving that stability behind currently. This is another one that gets cited a lot. So it's fun, right? So what we're looking at here is from Antarctic ice core isotope data. We know this kind of rise is really unprecedented, at least in the last 800,000 years or so, with this data. With the rise in carbon dioxide comes warming. So that's that red line that you see. That's the warming ups and downs from that isotope data from the ice core. And then the blue line is the changes in carbon dioxide levels. So right now we have about 1.1 degrees Celsius or 2 degrees Fahrenheit of warming above our pre-industrial levels. That really might not sound like a lot. It doesn't sound like a lot to me either, really, but it's already enough to be supercharging natural disasters. It's already enough to be disrupting weather patterns, melting polar ice, just to name some of the changes going on with our livable planet. And we're on track, without drastic cuts to emissions, to reach 2.5 to 3 degrees Celsius within the lifetime of today's children. Possibly as soon as 2050. Think right now about someone that you know, that you really care about. Let's say that's younger than you. Just take a moment to do the math and think about how old will that person be in 2050. Just add 25. Sam will be 36. Simply put, this level of warming will make the Earth an increasingly difficult place to live. And we have known about this for a long time. In 1988, NASA scientist James Hansen testified before Congress that global warming is what we used to refer to a lot, and global warming is happening, and global warming results in climate change. Now we talk more about climate change. But anyway. But James Hansen went before Congress and told Congress then that global warming was not theoretical, it was happening. The same year, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or the IPCC, was formed to assess climate science, to develop global scientific consensus, and to begin develop international collaboration to address the global issue. But what followed was not widespread action, it was disinformation. Y'all know what disinformation is? It's lies. This isn't just misinformation where people are misguided or, information that's someone's opinion or may not be reliable based on facts. It's intentional. Major fossil fuel companies, including ExxonMobil, conducted internal research in the 1970s that accurately predicted the effects of climate change. But instead of sounding the alarm, they funded a campaign of denial and doubt. They actually borrowed tactics from Big Tobacco, because those tactics worked for a while, emphasizing uncertainty, cherry-picking data, and discrediting reputable scientists. The campaign has worked. It fractured public understanding and delayed effective global action for decades, precisely because it prevented adequate political will to address climate change through policy, particularly in the United States. Why does that matter? Because we're talking about a global issue. Well, given the United States' global influence and its status as the highest per capita emitter of greenhouse gases, meaningful international action was slow because the United States didn't jump in and really get involved at first. And we see what we're doing now, but anyway. We are now living with the consequences. So what's at stake? Well, the web of life is unraveling. But what does that mean? Not in abstract terms. It means that growing food is getting harder. Crops are failing under extreme heat and erratic rainfall. The U.S. Department of Agriculture and the UN both report that staple crops like wheat, corn, and rice are at growing risk. In some places, agriculture has become really hard, like almost impossible. It means that biodiversity is collapsing. According to the IPBES, the leading international body on biodiversity loss, over 1 million species are at risk of extinction. Scientists agree that we are now living through the planet's sixth mass extinction. And unlike previous mass extinctions caused by asteroids or volcanic eruptions, this one is human-caused, driven by habitat destruction, pollution, and climate change. It means that water resources are becoming dangerously unstable. Glaciers that supply fresh water to billions of people are shrinking. Aquifers are being drained, and they're not refilling or recharging like they used to. Droughts are intensifying, even as floods are becoming more frequent. It means that climate change is and has been a major factor in human migration for quite some time. Climate is now one of the biggest drivers of displacement. People are migrating around the world and here domestically because of rising seas, heat waves, storms, and failing crops, infrastructure damage. The World Bank estimates that an additional 200 million people could be displaced over the next 25 years due to climate pressures. So when crops fail, when water runs out, when storms destroy infrastructure, people move. But they're not always welcomed. Increasingly, climate migrants face closed borders, detention, and hostility. Asylum systems often do not recognize climate displacement. It's not been a traditional category. We must advocate not just for climate solutions, but for compassionate, humane policies that recognize climate migration as a form of forced displacement. Think Canopy here in Northwest Arkansas. They're doing great work. And it means that natural disasters, hurricanes, wildfires, floods, are not just more frequent, but they're more destructive. What used to be 100-year events are now happening every 5 to 10 years. And in the US, the number of billion-dollar disasters has skyrocketed from an average of 3 per year in the 1980s to over 20 per year in recent years. Wildfire seasons are longer and more intense, fueled by drought and rising temperatures. Hurricanes are gaining strength more rapidly. Flooding events are becoming more severe, and even tornado outbreaks are shifting in time and geography, impacting regions that are less prepared for them. A lot of the source of that is NOAA. And here's where it hits closest to our Unitarian Universalist values. Climate change acts as a threat multiplier. It deepens existing injustices and creates new ones. It's interwoven with housing, food systems, healthcare, migration, racial injustice, colonial legacies, trade, conflict, and the rise of authoritarianism. I've seen it firsthand in some trips I've been to in Africa. Conflicts get labeled one way, but when you get over there and you see what the real contributing factors are, it's water. Those who have contributed the least, low-emission nations in the global south, for instance, are suffering the most. Within our own country, it's Black, Indigenous, and other peoples of color, people in poverty, who are most exposed to heat islands, flooding, pollution, and underinvestment in resilience measures. There's intergenerational climate justice, which recognizes that today's decisions will profoundly affect the lives of future generations. Young people and those yet to be born will bear the brunt of environmental degradation despite having contributed little to or nothing to the problem. Ensuring justice means making choices now that protect their right to a livable planet. Climate change worsens housing insecurity. It's one of the reasons we wanted to work with Family Promise today. In the U.S., extreme weather events destroy homes and displace families, leading to rising insurance premiums, property losses, and utility costs are pricing people out of their communities. On a global scale, sea level rise and crop failures are uprooting populations. These realities intersect deeply with our existing housing crisis, especially for renters, low-income people, and communities that are already at risk for displacement. Our global economy. Y'all been feeling some concern about it? Driven by fossil fuels, extractive industries, and trade policies favoring the powerful, continue to benefit from environmental destruction and worker exploitation. Climate justice calls us to confront not just the emissions, but the systems that profit from the suffering of both people and the planet. In many countries, the fallout from climate-related stress has contributed to civil unrest, militarized borders, and the rise of authoritarian leaders who promise order while suppressing dissent. Authoritarian leaders beholden to the fossil fuel industry don't even want us talking about climate change. The good news is that the clean energy sector, there's actually a lot of good news, has experienced remarkable growth. Solar and wind power have become some of the cheapest sources of electricity globally, and jobs in the renewable energy sector now outpace those in fossil fuels. This is very recent change. The rapid expansion of clean energy is not only reducing emissions, it's also helping us transition away from dependence on fossil fuels. Renewable energy can be community-owned. We're trying, to move towards a more sustainable and resilient energy future. Regenerative farming is also a bright spot in building community resilience, which regenerative farming, which we have a lot of here in Northwest Arkansas actually, can empower marginalized communities, restore soil, and strengthen our connection to the land. Climate adaptation plans, like we do have here in the city of Fayetteville, can include affordable housing and access to public transit. These are just examples of, the shift. Policy can protect people and jobs while cutting emissions. And we have a way forward as UUs. We're not just starting from scratch here, because I'm very impressed by the UUA's Green Sanctuary program. It's kind of our faith's roadmap for climate justice. The program has 4 main areas of work for congregations: reducing emissions, advocating for justice, building community resilience, and deepening our spiritual commitment to this work through congregational transformation. We talked about AI down in our mindful discussion, so I just want to let y'all know that AI generated this. ChatGPT, y'all. Okay, so it was just like an offering. I was like, okay. Because I had seen some pretty cool stuff from UUA, and I was just like, can you bring me one of those? And it made something new for me, and I was like, oh, I like that. Okay, it's even got UUFF on it. So here at UUFF, we've begun this Green Sanctuary journey. Historically, we, UUFF, have had energy audits, we've tried to adopt sustainable practices, and we've partnered with Interfaith Power and Light for support in reducing our carbon footprint. We've spearheaded tree planting initiatives, and our grounds crew does an outstanding job planting and enhancing our landscape, which helps to enhance our connection to nature. By joining the Green Sanctuary program, we are joining a network of inspired UU congregations, gaining access to up-to-date resources and becoming part of a broader, encouraging, and supportive UU community. Our first project was participating in the Interfaith Climate Retreat, and these are just some of the faith traditions that participated in that retreat, and you can see the organizing team down there. And it was a powerful start. We had about 90 people that came each evening. It was 3 evenings, and we met to discuss the reality of the crisis, the emotional toll that it is taking on all of us, and how we got here culturally. Like, what in the world? We were honest about the helplessness that we sometimes feel. Ultimately, we agreed that there is hope in personal and collective action for the health of our biosphere and our own mental well-being. It's good for us. This is not just work for scientists and policymakers. This is for us, for every person who loves a child, for every person who delights in birdsong and wildflowers and bees. We saved a bumblebee this morning, didn't we, Sam? For every person who believes in justice, equity, and compassion. This is a marathon, and fortunately, we all have unique gifts to contribute to this meaningful work. We don't want to get burned out. When it comes to action, we can stay true to what brings us joy, what we're good at, and what needs doing. We can find our sweet spot of climate action. This is not just about carbon, it's about justice. It's about love. It's about ensuring that future generations have a planet where they can grow food, drink clean water, and marvel at the biodiversity that stirs awe in our hearts. We can grow food differently. We can eat differently. We can restore ecosystems. We can adapt our cities. We can support the displaced. We can reduce our impact. We can do it together. And you're invited to this work, whether your passion lies in activism, building new systems, reforming old ones, or healing. There is a role for all of us, for each of us. There's something powerful about naming our fears and moving forward. Hope is not a feeling that we wait to be granted. It's a practice. It's a discipline. It's a refusal to give up on one another. As Joanna Macy says, I love her, I admit it. The most remarkable feature of this historical moment on earth is it's not that we are on the way to destroying the world. It's that we're beginning to realize it. We're beginning to wake up, as if waking up from a millennia-long sleep to a whole new relationship to our world, to ourselves, and to each other. May we wake up together. And may we begin again in love. Thank you.
So our closing hymn today is a video. This is from the climate conference, and we're just going to stand up here and sing with you. The words should be on the screen. This is a really, really awesome song. It's not very difficult. I hope you pick it up quickly. You can stand up now if you want to.
Sacred circle, we are part of it. There's an eternal sacred circle, we are part of it. We are only part of it. There's a divine and loving we respond.
That was beautiful. Please join me in extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
We are standing at a crossroads where our choices determine whether future generations will know the beauty and stability of our natural world. Intergenerational climate justice is about honoring the bond between generations by safeguarding the future from the harm that we can still prevent. This is a crisis, but it is also a moment of transformation. We're not powerless. Our faith calls us not to despair, but to compassion and collective action. Like these wise trees, don't they look wise, y'all? Let us stand together in this moment, grounded in our UU principles. Let us be a force for life, for justice, and for the generations to come, for love. If you're interested in learning more about the Green Sanctuary program, feel free to sign up in the foyer, and we'll be sure to let you know when we're going to have our next meeting. Thank you.